trying to make my way, knocking on every door in this maze. The time sits all out of reach. Soldier on, when it's harder to learn than to teach. Soldier on.
Greetings, friends! We are at day 3 of the Butchery Festival, the last day, and this festival has been an absolute blast.
Yes.
John told us for this last day that we needed to be here early for the special ceremony that they were going to have.
Before sunrise.
Before sunrise at 6. And I was kind of like, oh man, we got to get up early.
With 3 kids.
3 kids. And a lot of people were staying, some people were staying on site in tents. Some were in RVs, some were in hotels. But we were in an Airbnb that was probably like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, we got to get everybody up early, and then we're going to have to drive over there. Not to mention, it's going to be cold. It's been cold. So I was like, oh, I'm really not looking forward to this. But John was like, it's really important. We want you to be there. So I was like, all right, we'll be there. So we got there early, and it was cold.
It was cold. I think it was 24. It was cold.
But so thankful they had the huge bonfire that really helped keep us warm, and actually there was a couple times where I got too close to the bonfire and I actually thought I had my hood on like this, and I was recording and actually felt like my hood was on fire at some point. I was like, oh, whew, not on fire. So they started the ceremony with the presentation of the colors and then the national anthem.
The colors, the singing of the national anthem.
And then John, who could easily have been one of among 22 veterans who commit suicide each day, he gave some very touching words during the ceremony.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, everybody that needs to be here needs to be here, honestly. It's our 4th year, right? Who's first boucherie? Raise your hand. A lot of first timers. Hey guys, so I just want you to understand. So this day is extremely hard, right? For many of reasons. Number 1, 2020 was literally a kick in the nuts. Who had a great time in 2020? Who struggled in 2020? Raise your hand. Who struggled in 2020, right? I will tell you, Comfort Farms was we had a lot of issues. You know, when COVID hit, after our first boucherie, it was, we became the beacon of the community, guys, honestly. Processors went down. Food there was food shortages, things like that. We were set up from the beginning to with the right decisions that we made, where our community came to us and we supported them big time. One of the things about the boucherie for me is that throughout the year, every day, my team is planning for this day. Everything that we do on the farm is literally for this day. So if you feel the love, if you feel the just this amazing environment of just awesomeness, it's because, you know, I always say you're only as good as your support. And if I look like a rock star, it's because I got so many awesome people behind me.
We love you, John. Love you, man.
Oh, I love you guys. Yes. So I want to talk to you guys about something, right? At the end of the day, I struggled really, really hard to try to find my space in this place. And one of the things I wanted to do was really connect with the values that I learned along the way, especially with me and my wife, right? One thing that COVID taught me was we got to get back to the basics of just life, community, family, loving ourselves, right? We don't do enough of that. Appreciating our loved ones, appreciating our kids, doing those type of things. Our families, relationships are important. I lost a lot of friendships along the way this year due to stress, and a lot of things were broken. But my vision was always clear. I pushed forward. A lot of good things happened this year. A lot of people stepped up for Comfort Farms in a way that I never even knew that was, even imaginable. I'll tell you some of the highlights of this year, because we're going to focus on, the great things. We got a donation to receive 5 homes on this property, 5-bedroom homes with 4 bathrooms for transitioning vets and vets who want to come to this place to learn how to do agriculture, and for people who love our organization, who want to come in and stay for about a week. You bring your family, you do what you need to do. Lodging is essential to that. Those are donations from folks that, I didn't even know. They saw what we were doing as an organization from the testimonials of people that came to Comfort Farms. A lot of this stuff really struck a chord with them. They want to see it grow. A couple of years ago, literally, I was looking at my last sunset, guys, and I talk about that, because there are other vets who are sitting here, other people who are sitting here right now. You don't have to be a vet to go through trauma to be depressed, okay? I was literally sitting there thinking about, taking my own life, and had my son not walked into that room, I wouldn't even be here today with you guys, I'm being totally honest. I joined with some partners. We did we do a sweat lodge every boucherie. There's 2 types of people at the boucherie event. Those who take pretty much the spiritual walk and open up, and those who come in to appreciate what those of us who are given of ourselves. This boucherie is awesome because there are members among us right now who have opened up in a way, who have held on to the grit and the grime, and decided to just bloom like flowers. And when you feel in this space the presence of how awesome that is, it's because these guys are exuding so much energy. And so one of the things that carry away from this event that I want people to understand is that what you've learned here, what you felt here, take that back out into the world. The world is becoming a really ugly place right now. We are the only ones doing this right now in America. With so much division going on right now, we are the only ones. There are Republicans, there are Democrats, there are people who don't believe in God, there are people who do believe in God, and what do? We all come together. And this is what our founding principles was set upon. So I appreciate all you folks for coming here and sharing this moment that I never thought would be anything. And it's here, and it's here because of you guys. So one of the things I want to do really is kind of go over what this is all about. We do a whiskey tribute for the fallen. We're going to get into all of those things. If you don't have a cup, I understand some people don't drink. I understand some people don't drink alcohol. That's perfectly fine. We have water.
We have non-alcoholic.
And we have non-alcoholic drinks. But during that memorial that goes down, we're going to take a toast to our fallen brothers and sisters. But there's some things that I want to actually talk about right now, and I'm going to put a few people on the spot. Paul Lausier, talk to me.
I said, brother, it's so inspirational to me. I haven't walked the same steps as a lot of the other guys. I got out in '97, but still stayed, connected to the Ranger Regiment, the Ranger community, whole Special Operations community, and the veteran community. And just watching everything develop here and what you bring to the community, I went out of my way to share that so more Rangers, more veterans would know about it. And like I brought, Selah with me. Marine, SF, and he wants to bring more people into it. What you're doing is just, this here is so inspirational, and even beyond, like the persona that you bring online, where you're bringing people of different factions, different beliefs, different everything together, and bridging those gaps. That's really what this is about. It's bridging, the divides and bringing people together and showing people a better way.
Thanks, dude. Love, man.
There were a number of touching testimonials that were given around this bonfire.
But one that I really enjoyed was by Michelle, Dr. P, that we had in our video from our first day. She gave a really touching testimonial to what this boucherie does for her.
I came down here, I brought my family this year. This is my second boucherie. And I lost a friend a couple years ago, and she was a beautiful soul, and we don't, as a woman veteran, I get the side eye at the VA. I get, we have vet plates on the car, and they ask my husband if he's the veteran. And there's space here for me and the experience that I had, right? And there's space here for everybody and the experience they had. And I get to talk about Sonia here, because Sonia would have loved this. And Sonia, I don't know where Joel is, but I was bawling yesterday because we lost Sonia a couple years ago, and she would have loved this. And she had this idea. She founded Feed Iowa First, and she had this idea that the state of Iowa should be able to feed Iowans and maybe not feed some of the, maybe not concentrate on feeding some of the countries that Iowa concentrates on feeding. And I think that, John, what you bring is the idea that we can take care of ourselves. That feeding ourselves, feeding our communities, builds wealth. It builds us up as human beings and brings us together. And we've lost so much of that in our food and our agriculture. And so we're allowed to come here and be who we are and go back with what we've learned and feed our people. You need your farmers 3 times a day, right? Take what you've learned, take what John puts together, and go back and be the possibility that we're stronger as a nation when we have food security.
And it's more than just veterans that come to Comfort Farms for healing. Like the bagpiper, he was telling us his story.
I was here the very first boucherie.
Here you go, buddy.
Wendy had contacted me, friend of a friend, looking for a bagpiper. For some reason she connected with me, and I agreed to come out. I still remember that first year. I was coming here expecting to be paid as the bagpiper, and I stood here that morning around this fire and I listened to the stories, and when I started playing, I said, I can't take a payment for this. This is, to me, this is what the United States is about. Remembering the people that fought for us. I actually went through a personal dark time. It was tough. Went through a really bad divorce. Finances hit rock bottom. I hit rock bottom. John was still there for me. I was still able to call him, talk to him. I showed up out here at the farm a few times, but I'm one of those, I'm not a vet. I'm a civilian. But John still welcomed me with open arms. I came back last year, played again, and then here I am again to honor all of you that have worn that uniform from my life. I cannot thank you enough for that and for this farm and helping me through my own time.
And hearing all these testimonials, they were pretty emotional and impactful. But for me, probably the one that got me choked up the most was hearing John's oldest son when he shared some comments about what he feels and how he feels about the work his dad is doing.
I got a quick word. You know, on behalf of, well, I'm the only one who has a voice right now, but on behalf of your sons and daughters, you know, one thing I want you to know is I'm proud.
Yep, and for far too long, it was taught that men shouldn't cry or be emotional, but men can express emotion in the right way. That doesn't mean you need to be whining all over the place, but this was an emotional experience, and there was a lot of tears and emotion being shared all around the campfire.
And it's good to express that emotion. I mean, we're
Sure
created to have those emotions, and there's nothing wrong with expressing those.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get into two non-human beings that mean a real lot to me right now. One is over there, if you look by the missing man table, that's my bird Hondo. I'm a licensed falconer. Hondo, and West African name for warrior. And I really struggled with bringing him out today. But something hit a chord with me, and we do things organically. He's sitting up in front of the table of the fallen to represent our fallen brothers and sisters. Because when you're sitting in a talk and your guys are out on mission, and for many of us who've fought in GWAT, in global war and terrorism, who's been in Afghanistan, around Africa and in Iraq, the hardest thing to hear when you're in a conflict is the words, eagle down. And you know that's one of your brothers. We bring our fallen vets into this space because I do not want their ultimate sacrifice to be in vain. I want them to be remembered. I do this event partnered with Brian Kaiser. We have these festivities so that way it's not a cry fest, even though there's a lot of crying going on. But also, we do this because those eagles who have fell, those guys would want us to eat, be merry, have fun. Because the only thing in life that they enjoyed was hunting and doing the things that they love to do. And so Hondo, my warrior over there, that's what he represents. He represents the fallen vets who aren't here right now. And that's why I love the sport of falconry. And it became a little bit more to me when I became a vet. And it's one of those things that means the world to me. So I want you guys to reflect on that today. But I'm going to go into the next one for why we're all here on Sunday. And that's socks. Socks is the pig that we're going to put down today. This is tough, guys. People say you shouldn't name your animals, you shouldn't name your livestock, especially the ones that you're going to eat. But we live in a world today that our system pushes us and forces us to disconnect from the things that we love. The convenience of our grocery markets, our supermarkets, and our big major distributors force us to not be connected to the things that we care about the most. And when you care about something, you take care of them really, really well. When you don't care about something, you turn your back away and you allow the atrocities to happen that happens on major plants that do mass slaughter. Some people have an issue that we are going to put an animal down that we love so much. Well, I want everybody to understand that yes, Socks has a name. And Socks was loved And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna appreciate that. And I tell people, if you can't love your animal, if you can't look your animal in the eye, that you're gonna take his life for sustenance and pass on that sustenance and do great things, eat more vegetables. Eat more vegetables. We need to eat less meat. I know that's an oxymoron. Why am I, as a farmer who raises meat, to tell people to eat less meat and more veg? But the interesting thing is that we need to eat quality food. Okay? When our country started, you know, meat was a luxury. Now the poorest of our poor in America, okay, can't eat meat because for us, wealth is how much we can give at whatever cost to our health. As long as we have it, we can eat it. But good meat, things that you love, things that you raise, those things you need very little of. And so yes, we partake in this. And our veterans raised this animal from a piglet to where he is now. And he is absolutely loved. In the boucherie, our boucherie, the Le Pierre du Mont boucherie, is the butcher at the foot of the mountain. One of the things that we believe is giving our best to our friends. I could have sold him to a restaurant and made a lot of money, but he is more deserving to be with the people that I love who came here that I'm gonna share him with. And that means something to me. And it means something to me when I have to take his life, that I'm there, that I'm gonna do it right, because I want him to make sure that he passes on correctly. Nobody else. I'm gonna have to do that. And that means something to me. So, we're gonna kind of get this thing going. I appreciate you guys. I love you all. This is real tough for me. I'm pretty a reserved person until this day. Thanks to Brian and his sweat lodge, got me open up like a little butterfly running around here and all this craziness.
Thank you for saying butterfly, and
You
that's
know?
something else I thought you were gonna say.
I wanted to say the other
I know
one.
what you were on. I know.
But I'm happy, guys, and I'm gonna turn this over to C.
Behind me there's a table reserved to honor our missing comrades in arms. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our missing troops. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose in a vase reminds us of the life of each of the missing and their loved ones and friends who keep the faith awaiting answers.
And the next part of this ceremony was to dispatch socks.
Even though we, like some of you watching, don't eat pork, I must say there was a lot to learn here from John. And I learned a lot, and I commend John in his whole entire approach and example that he set with the way that he honored socks. Before the pig was to be dispatched, they first did a prayer.
We thank you, Creator, for the gifts you have given us. The people we love, air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. We ask that you give us the strength to keep those things sacred and teach others to do so.
And then they even did a toast.
To socks.
To socks.
Oh, boy. To us.
To us.
Thank you all so much. Let's have a great day.
Thank you. And this one guy got choked up, and it wasn't from tears. I actually know who he is, and I love you, brother. But it was a little funny. I get choked up like that too. And then after the toast, they did the sage, whatever you call that.
A clearing.
Clearing.
Yeah.
And then, I must say, this, for a large animal, dispatching a large animal, I thought it was done very, very calmly,
yes.
humanely, and non-traumatic.
Yeah.
I don't even think most of the kids there even knew that it happened.
No. And John, like us, we raise our animals so they only have one bad day. And even that bad day is made as best as it could be.
And after Socks was dispatched, the cadets led the way as they marched Socks down to where the major festivities for the Butchery Festival take place.
As I went down to pray, studying about that good old way, the story down below showed me. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers,
You my boy, Blue.
let's go down, down in the
And we want to thank John, Bree, and the whole Comfort Farms team for having this Butchery Festival. It's been an absolute blast and so grateful to be here.
It sure has been. It was full of family, fun, fellowship.
Yeah.
You know, all those F words that we talked about in the last video.
Yeah.
It was all of that and more. And you just can't get that feeling of family like that anywhere else.
No, it's nothing you can't get from watching it virtually. And speaking of the last videos, it saddened me to see some of the comments that were given in our last video that were totally, people were totally missing out of the essence and the purpose
And the
of
meaning.
what this festival is about.
Yes.
And what life's about too, to be honest
Yes.
with you. So, for years, God has blessed us abundantly with the freedoms and things that we are able to enjoy. And so many men and women have fought and stood up for and sacrificed and even given their lives for to protect those freedoms and blessings that we have been able to enjoy. And that is what this butchery is about.
It sure is.
Honoring those people who are willing to do so. And we could have easily just sat at home and stayed at our homestead and just done our own homesteading stuff. But it was so neat to be able to come here and interact with others, to show love to others, real love, even though this world's trying to redefine love in so many different ways.
Exactly.
We need to be able to come together and connect to each other and be able to see special ceremonies like we did today.
Well, and not only that, the exchange of information is there. I'm like, we were sharing information with other people and they were sharing with us. You learn about parasites in our sheep and all these other things that, you know, we don't have access to all the time, and we want to bring that information to other people as well.
And I'm glad you're watching this video and you're able to kind of revisit and see what we were able to see, but you're not able to feel what we were able to feel there, and the power that was there and the emotion was just on a whole nother level. So
It sure was.
So
make sure you're there next year.
yes, God willing, we plan to be there again next year because it's such a blast, and we need to be able to connect with each other. Apart, we are weaker, but together we are stronger, and hopefully we'll see you there next year. See you next time.
Bye, guys.